All right, what's going on, people? This is the Viewers Anonymous podcast, and I am S. Foster. Starting a little different today. I ain't got my co-host with me, Scoots, going through some things right now, but he will be joining the stream soon. But got some guests on today from the All Docked Up podcast. I'll let them introduce themselves. Hey, Chris, you can start it off.
Okay. You just sorry. So you like did like this whole like prep thing, and I'm still about to make it awkward. Hey guys, I'm Chris. I guess 1/3 of All Docked Up, also the solo host of Shenanigans with Friends, and I'll let it go from there.
I'm VJ. I guess the another third of All Docked Up podcast. I also solo host a true crime podcast called Murder V Wrote, and occasionally co-host a podcast with a guy named Quentin called Chopping It Up with Q.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're modest. I don't know why. My name is Penrose James, and I'm dope as fuck. I'm the other third of All Docked Up. I also host Penrose versus Anybody anytime I get a collective thought long enough to feed y'all. I used to do a lot of inspirational shit on IG. I guess I still do. And I'm an armchair therapist, man. The world loves to tell me their problems. I'm like the one nigga that don't snitch. So unless it's my shit. I snitch about my shit all the time. That's weird. But anyway, I'm Penrose James.
That's what's up. Don't be my. Hey, me and Scoop still trying to figure out. He always call himself the co-host, and I always say I'm the leader of this podcast. But like, nah, man, we started this as a partnership, so I was like, we two co-hosts. But so we got to treat man like I don't know. Well, obviously y'all do nothing but documentaries on All Docked Up, and this podcast we try to throw in documentaries, but apparently documentaries is like the best thing that we do because those are our highest played things. So today we are doing my bad. We are doing the HBO Max documentary Tina. And the funny thing about that is, so when I first seen it, I told my old lady about it, and she was like, "Why do I need to watch that?" She was like, "I already seen what love got to do with it." So I'm like, "Well, you do know what love got to do with it is not a documentary." And anytime
It's not.
So my mama
Loosely
told me
based.
happened.
Loosely
Right.
based.
Yeah, because like the thing is, like now by watching this, I see a lot of the stuff was Hollywood up. You know what I'm saying? Like they switch some stuff up, all that little stuff like that. So let's start. Let's start with VJ. VJ, what was your initial opinion when you first saw it?
So I just want to preference this before I tell you that, I just want to say it's cool that we got a chance to be here and do this. So thank you for having us, because
Facts.
on All Docked Up we generally have a rule that we do not do multi-part documentaries. So with this is something we probably would have never been able to do, because we wouldn't have.
Right.
5 parts is a lot for us to try to cover, so we would have never been able to cover it.
Right.
With that being said, I really enjoyed it. Why I love doing the show with Chris and Penrose is because we all genuinely love documentaries. And so I watch them all the time. I think I literally watched everything on HBO Max. Like I just will find it, watch it, whatever. So this one I felt like was really well done. I liked that it was in kind of parts and you could follow it in a way that kind of made sense, in kind of in a way that like chapters of a book, really. Like you just kind of got to see her life unfold kind of like you would do a good book. And I really was appreciative of the way it was done.
Like aesthetically it was beautiful, and like VJ said, it was like, and we know it's like broken up in chapters, but for me, Tina Turner wasn't like a super big person in my household, and so I knew songs, you know what I'm saying, and knew What's Love Got to Do with It, like, and all that stuff like that, but like I didn't really know, you know what I'm saying, like about what was happening. So to watch this, but then like as each chapter unfolds, my favorite part was like how we are watching it musically. How we kind of show, like we see the transformation from anime to Tina Turner, like, and then Tina Turner post Ike. Like, so for me, like to be able to appreciate the music that I missed, or to really understand the where she was when the music that I know was out, you know what I'm saying, like was super like mind blowing for me. Like I thought it was amazingly done.
Dope. I think for me, being able, the story we know of Tina Turner, whether you're a fan or not, is Anime Bullock. She met Ike, turned to Tina Turner. Ike used to beat her. She beat him up in the back of a limo. She gone.
He made her eat the cake. Scoots!
Right.
Yo, what's going on? Hey man, listen, my apologies y'all for being late, man. My son's baseball coach, bro. This nigga ain't know what he was doing, so they was out there for extra time. And then he had everybody in the infield and 2 people in the outfield, so they was hitting, and 2 people was chasing down the ball, passing to everybody else. It's a mess.
Okay. So are you taking his job or like what's happening?
No, I'm definitely not taking his job. He the assistant coach. I guess the head coach didn't make it today, so they was out there just willy-nilly. Niggas was throwing
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah, niggas was on the first base and niggas was on third. So it's a whole thing.
How old are they?
12.
Okay,
wow.
yeah, I thought I was okay. Yeah, I
You thought he was like a 6-year-old?
I was like, okay, maybe it's T-ball or something. Like they're learning.
This shit was like the real version of Sandlot. Like whatever y'all seen on Sandlot, that's what that was today. It was all bad, man.
Hell no.
Oh man, but you ain't missed too much, man. Everybody was just giving their initial thoughts of the Tina documentary, man. So what you got on it?
Oh, let Penrose finish. Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh yeah, you did interrupt him. My bad. My guy.
It's all good. To be able to see how much she dealt with Ike after the fact, and how much that actually she fought with being a person versus tied to a traumatic situation. You know what I mean? Like Tina Turner is amazing and famous for a beautiful reason. Yet so many people only attribute her fame to getting beat by Ike. Right. And so them showing what she actually went through while trying to separate from that, still be a person, still be a mom, and still be Tina Turner. I thought for me, that was one of the best parts of the doc. So
man, that's a great point. My initial thoughts going into it was Tina Turner is built like Wendy Williams. Had to get that out.
Good night. See?
No. Don't judge me.
Wendy played all forward for the Knicks, but you can't do that.
I'm just saying. They got the shoulders, no hips. You know what I'm saying?
Wendy shaped like the Sesame Street pea.
Yeah. But watching the doc, I actually watched twice. Man, it's amazing to see everything she overcame. You know what I'm saying? Like she went from being somebody who just wanted to sing to losing her R&B status to basically reinventing herself into this pop / rock and roll icon. And then I mean, like she went from literally having to do shows just to pay off her debt, and then end up coming back and became a fucking megastar all over again. So, I mean, it's just amazing to see somebody have to go through so much trauma. And like Penrose said, like everything was connected to Ike. Even when she was 16, 17, 20 years down the line, she was still connected to him because they were still asking her questions about him. Yeah, and it was just like, you kind of felt there. It was like, goddamn, like, I don't even know if this nigga's still living. Like, why you asking me these questions about this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
I punched him in the face. Like,
but then I had to think about it, and I was thinking too, like, well, I think so many people were asking that because she kept the name. I think if she didn't keep the name and just kept Tina, then everything would have been different. But the fact that she kept that Tina Turner, people wanted to know where, you know what I'm saying, where was Ike? Why Ike wasn't there?
I think people. Nah. I think I think the world is hell bent on. We feed off drama. We laugh at Kiki at the good stories, but the drama is the shit we talk about at the lunch tables at work, and when niggas on their cigarette break, and when you chilling with your mans, when you pillow talking with your wife after she tell you about Keisha at work, y'all talking about whatever the hottest shit is in the streets. That's why, you know what I mean? That's why 20 years later it was what's up with Ike, because even a kid who only knows Tina Turner as a star, if you hear she got beat, she did this, she did that. It's still a story to somehow connect to. Like,
Yeah,
I ain't gonna get totally off base, but you know, the world's a disgusting place. Niggas love drama.
that's a fact. But I mean, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I thought it was a smart idea to keep her name, man, especially in that time in the 70s and 80s. And I thought it was a smart move by her. I just think the fact of when she said that she never really talked about the divorce. So I think some of that might have been her fault, but she said that she didn't want Ike to find her. So I don't know what that had to do with anything. I don't know why she couldn't just, because I felt if she would have said, yo, me and Ike got divorced, we ain't together no more musically or, you know what I'm saying, physically, anything like that, I think that those questions wouldn't have been as that bad in the very beginning. But because she tried to keep it under wraps, like motherfuckers kept asking. And I mean, I can't be mad at them by asking the question in the very beginning. But like when it's 15, 20 years down the road, like, yeah, this is dumb. But like to ask these questions in the very beginning when they first got divorced, it's like, yeah, like people are gonna ask, they're gonna want to know. So I think that small part of it was on Tina though.
Mm-hmm. The fact that you're saying that the fact that Ike still kind of like was like right like Peter Pan like shadowing her like because she chose not to like clear the air when it was originally happening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you.
I can see that.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know about that one, man. It's for me. I'm trying to think of who I could say this right, because I don't want to offend nobody when I say this. But like,
you came in and said she shaped like Wendy Williams, like.
No, that was just an initial thought. That didn't have nothing to do with how great she is. That it had nothing to do with how great she is. That it had nothing to do with her talent. None of that. But no, seriously though, like I think that if she would have came out and talked about it, and I know how hard that is to do something like that, because that's not an easy thing to talk about, especially when you're going through it. But I felt like if she would have at least after the fact, after they were separate and everything else, had came out and told her story as everything was going on, or at least get her side of it out, I don't think she would have felt that trauma as long as she felt it. I think that by getting it off her chest early, she could have kind of got away from some of that. But in a weird sense, I feel like she used that to kind of fuel herself to get to where she ended up getting.
You got to think about what she said in the documentary, though. Two things. One, you're talking about the time and the era where niggas weren't listening to women and being wrong to women was almost common. Another thing, though, is that she pointed out the reason she didn't talk about a lot of it is because what she said, I'm loyal. And loyalty means more to some people than others. And when she said that, that's kind of when they kind of went hardcore into you getting beat and then made to go do a song. When she even said this eye is smaller than the other one. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like when it comes to speaking out, in some small way, she didn't want to put him out on blast like that until she just couldn't take no more. And then again, if we thinking about the times, man, nobody was gonna really like to kind of piggyback Chris' point earlier when she said Tina Turner wasn't big music in her household. So if we really look at Tina Turner, she was a big star, but Tina Turner was rock and roll. So to the average household person, her story, you coming out and telling your story, nobody was probably gonna listen back at them times anyway. Unfortunately.
Right.
No, yeah, you're right about that. That is an interesting point that she said that though, like her music really wasn't rocking in your house when you was younger like that. Did y'all parents rock with Tina Turner or Ike and Tina like that?
Nope. Outside of hits, nah.
Right.
I mean, nah. I mean, honestly, man, it was just really. I mean, that was like a movie that my mom used to watch a lot. So like that's the only thing that I even knew about Tina Turner was What Love Got to Do with It. Like I never really heard any of those records like that. But like,
what was the song about secondhand smoke? About getting high in the room. Like it was in one of the acts. And I want to hear that.
She's a hater. She
Why?
was down in the ganja in that whole song. She said she said they had the blunt, they passed it around. She
And
turned
she
it
was
down.
like, right.
She was like,
but then
"Nah,
she,
I'm
but
cool
then
on
she
that, fam."
said, but then she got high from the.
Off a
It was
secondhand
contact
smoke.
high.
That ain't the same
Contact high.
thing. Yeah, that
It
ain't the
was
same
called
thing.
contact high. But I mean,
They
she was in
was
the
really
room. She stayed in the
shotgunning.
room though.
I don't know about that one. They were shotgunning her for real. She ain't want to tell the truth.
I just didn't know. I didn't know she had hits like that. I didn't know she had bops like that. That's all I'm
Yo,
saying. Like,
do you look at somebody sideways in 2021 if they still trying to get a shotgun?
Yes.
Yeah.
wait. Repeat the question.
The
If somebody-
COVID-filled ganja.
Yeah,
It's
if
like,
it's-
no,
if-
like, why would you? We're in a panoramic. Why would you?
If you had an event somewhere, and somebody's like, "Yo, you want a shotgun?" Like, are you serious?
Oh no.
For one, I'm over 30.
First of
I'm
all,
still
no,
doing
it's
still doing
2021, so no, like, no, we're not doing that.
Definitely
But
not.
also, like, Panera Bread, we're in it
Yeah.
still. Like, don't
We're definitely in Panera
Facts.
Bread.
don't do that.
The Pandora is still going on.
It's still
Yeah,
going.
but-
It's still open. It's still open.
Yes.
Shit is going
Yeah,
around.
very
Like,
much so. The vaccines are still available, so that
don't be
means that
sharing. You
people
shouldn't be
are
sharing
still
blunts
getting
with
sick.
folks. Like shotgun, hell,
Mm-mm.
you shouldn't even be passing blunts around. Like,
Right.
Like,
That's
to
a
be
fact.
honest, like you got to really keep that circle real tight at this point. Like,
You got to smoke with
Everybody
the
needs
same
to-
people.
everybody needs
So-
to roll their own shit. Hell, it's circle
That's a
shit.
fact.
I am
Since we-
circle.
Since we on the topic of drugs, they showed my man. I ain't gonna lie to you. This was a Ike Turner Slender film. They showed my man Ike sniffing cocaine like he was Priest in Superfly. Now, do y'all think that this had anything to do with his aggression and his anger towards Tina Turner? Because she was turning out hits. So why was he
the cocaine. You just answered your own fucking
Sorry,
It's the 80s. Everyone did coke. Everyone,
just
not
saying.
but
But you
everyone was
gotta-
doing coke. Everybody had drugs. Like,
Yeah. And some people, and just like how some people can't smoke weed, some people can't
handle
snort
their
coke.
liquor. He needs to put the coke down. Like, that's
He
it.
needed
Yeah.
an
Listen,
alternative.
By the time he got to her, man, if you think about it, it was kind of disgusting when you think about it. Take the coke into effect, and then they say that when they first met, it was a brother-sister relationship. By the time
and she was 17.
right? By the time he formed a relationship, mentally he was so fucked because what did they say? Everybody he wrote a hit for would end up leaving him.
Leaving.
He formed a sexual relationship with her and trademarked that name, all built around making sure she didn't leave.
She
if
never
she became
leave.
a star. So you
And
goddamn
basically
right
had her tell him that she would never leave him.
You goddamn
That
right
nigga
that when
is a
it came
genius.
to that was Bill.
Nah.
Nah.
He's a narcissist and an abuser, is what he is. Because
No,
that was
that's-
built around.
I'm not negating that fact, but that nigga is still
Oh,
a
we mean
genius.
musically?
This nigga put her in the 360 before them shits was even popping.
Good night. You right.
Okay.
You right.
What are we talking about? My nigga, listen.
Comment on that.
Listen,
Wow.
This nigga is at Joe Jackson levels of business right now. The fact that he was writing the songs, he put her in his band, made her the star, she was popping before she even started doing rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? The cocaine hit, you know what I'm saying? He flipped and he went all the way left. That's his fault. He fucked up a good thing.
He was
but then
beating
she
her before
turned
the
herself
cocaine.
into something else. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy.
No, what's crazy is how the movie tried to portray it one way and it really went down another way. Because you remember in the movie and what love got to do with it, she had just had the baby down in Mexico. And then they said over the radio station, they said the new hit by Ike and Tina Turner. And she was like, who is Tina Turner? And then it was like that was his way of proposing to her. But in real life, this motherfucker just changed the name and you gotta do it. Like, I don't care what you want to do. What I thought was
Yeah,
weird though.
the hits from Anime Bullet don't sound the same.
Man, I'm
There's
not
something
dealing
behind
with
it. Wait.
Like,
Anime don't get like Tina do.
that Tina Turner ring, man.
I mean, it did ring.
Does
I mean,
Would
it
she
did-
have used her last name? Like,
She couldn't just be
But
anime
no.
or like she couldn't have just made her
Right.
own stage name. Like, did she have
Right.
to like have a name Ebic? Like
She
that,
needed
was-
that stage
no.
name.
it's the
that is a part of
alliteration.
abuse.
The
The-
TT.
that
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a part of abuse. That's a part of the cycle of abuse. It is about control on every level possible. It is about isolation, and
That's true.
But
that's the music industry.
Abuser. But again,
That's the
but you're
music
right.
industry.
And the music industry is full of narcissists and abusers.
Yes, it is.
So,
Yeah, but look where he got the name from though. He got the name from this TV character that he loved on TV named Sheena?
Mhm.
Hey,
this dude.
When inspiration hit you, it hit you, baby. Ain't got nothing to do with him.
What's your name,
sometimes
Tina?
you be eating your Cheerios and watching TV, and
Hey, you feel me?
You be like Tina, Sheena, Tina. It's Tina.
He did.
Tina's the
Listen,
one.
I think he
Tina.
still had
She's
great
like,
business.
Who are you talking to?
At the end of the day, I think he still had amazing business. The fact that he wrote all the songs, you know what I'm saying, put her into the band, made her the lead singer, you know what I'm saying, had R&B hits like crazy in the 50s and the 60s. At that, my nigga was doing doo-wop and then was riding up the street and he was like, hey, I want to try this out. And this nigga was with BB King, and this nigga wrote the first rock and roll record just on a whim.
Yeah.
Like that nigga was a genius, bro.
Very talented, and he's very. But as we see with a lot of people that are very talented and gifted, they have their own sets of demons and problems, and unfortunately, sometimes that bleeds over into things that it shouldn't bleed over into. It ruins the personal relationships they have with people.
That is true. So my question is this: is that something that is indicative of like the greats, like the goats of arts? Like, do they all have to have that in order to become like that to that next pinnacle? Because like a lot of people say, you know what I'm saying, like they sell their soul. I don't think they selling their soul. I just think like they just end up going through so much trauma that they use that to fuel themselves to get over or to bury that trauma and then become like this mega star.
Right.
I think they're troubled. I think they're troubled people.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think they're troubled people who are gifted, and it's an outlet for that pain. Like it's an outlet for the things that they're feeling. It's an outlet for the trauma, but that's only one way of dealing with it outwardly facing. You're not addressing the root of the issue. You're just talking about it or using something to cope with it, but you aren't getting to the root of the issue. So when
you cope, that album don't slap.
Good night.
Okay, and so I mean, and that's fair because what is the criticism that people have about like Keisha Cole or like a Mary J. Blige? If they're not,
when Mary J. Blige was in love, that album was ass.
The albums that's what they say. If they're in love, if everything is good in their life, then the albums are trash, and it's fucked up. But that's what the prevailing consensus is, right? Like
that's the Penrose point, though. He said it earlier. We love the bullshit.
People love drama. For one, let me comment on something you said. The world changed the meaning of, well, actually, the church changed the meaning of selling your soul. When you talk selling your soul, that's exactly what they're doing, and that's why the shit slapped. I'm just gonna use Jay for instance. Jay made his first album at 26, and for 10 years gave us fucking 10 bangers. And everything he talked about, we can wholeheartedly verify. When you're selling your soul, I have to give you all of me. I gotta give you the real. If I don't, and again, to your point, this is why motherfucking the Keisha Coles and the Mary J's don't slap when they happy, because you fake happy. You don't really know how to be happy. You just came on for giving us this dope ass depressed album. You've been in a relationship for 1 year. Now you giving us love? No, you don't really know how to be happy. So in the sense
I think it's a release from the trauma, right? Like you get to shake the chains off for a little bit and just enjoy not having to sing about traumatic experiences. I wouldn't want to sit around and sing about my trauma all day either.
And I feel you, but to the same point, when they're singing about the happiness, they're still selling their soul. So to his point, or to answer his question, I feel like whether it's good stuff or bad stuff, you do have to have that in order to give. Because the only reason we connect to artists, podcasters, painters, rappers, whoever, is because something they've done we connected with somewhere in our life. We can remember something, we going through it now, whatever. So yes, you do need, it doesn't necessarily have to be that traumatic, but you need
a level of
life experiences, exactly, in order to be appealing to the people. So
okay, I see what you're saying when you say appealing, but I mean like to that GOAT status.
To that GOAT level, yes, you have
to that GOAT level. You gotta be deep in it though. Like you gotta be down there 6 feet.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it requires a lot of work on the other side too, right? To get to
Oh,
a
for
sense
sure.
of the level that we're talking about, that requires a lot of sacrifice, a lot of work, a lot of you kind of being able to separate the people and things in your life that you love from this career that you have, and you have to be ultra focused on making that work and attaining that level of superstardom.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people that becomes lonely, right? So then you kind of drown yourself in the drinks and the drugs, and because who else is going to identify with that level of having to kind of give up everything that is important to you for this one goal?
Facts.
Like we all have things that we aspire or attain to, but that level you really do have to sell your soul, because how many people really in life are ever going to know what it feels like to sell out stadiums and to have platinum records and to most of us are never going to know what that feels like. And that
That's
requires a lot of sacrifice. And that in itself is a whole other set of trauma.
True. I can agree with that.
But I also like to piggyback off what Scoops was saying. Like, I think I give Ike that genius thing, but at the same time, Ike could be sort of like a Quentin Miller, right? Like they say he wrote Drake some hits. Okay, he wrote some hits, but he couldn't perform them because he wasn't Drake. Ike couldn't perform those songs because he wasn't Tina.
You
know what I'm saying?
Named Quentin.
Neo was writing hits for Beyonce, but he can't go out there and sing Irreplaceable. It's the same.
That's hilarious.
But that's
a great analogy.
So I think that he needed her just as much. But what was crazy was when they had Proud Mary came out. So then they get the new house, he built it in the studio and all this shit, and then he gets the pressure from the labels of coming out with another hit. And I think that when y'all was talking about the selling your soul thing, I think that's when it got real crazy for him, because now you got the pressure of trying to come up with another Proud Mary, and you got this new studio. Now you got to pay for it, and then it's like he's even going even more crazy with the coke, because like he probably did coke beforehand, but I just think that it really got out of control once Proud Mary came out, and then it's like you pressing for that next hit. Then Tina is damn over here doing what's my man name? Phil Spector.
Phil
I think that's what his name was.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yo.
That nigga never combed his hair. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that album was a Spectre.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, yo, I liked it. Hey, I liked that song, man. I'm sorry.
That's a flop, bro.
Hey, I did, but but that's how America do though. Like they put Tina in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like they doing a song that's not gonna ring off in the black community, and then when it comes to the white community, they're gonna be like, yo, we ain't fucking with it. So they had to go take it over there, and that shit rung off over there. But I think Ike, that even put more pressure on Ike. Now he made a great point what he said, because he just said what I just said. Like, yeah, he made a great point. But at the same time, when she started doing that, was it Buddhism? When she started doing that shit, yo, the wildest shit was when she was on stage and she was talking about, you know what I'm saying, women's needs and all that little stuff like that. And she was saying that, you know, men like being out in the streets, so now we can go out in the streets and get what we want. When she flipped the script, but that was wild.
Yeah, I think they kind of set him. He was already.
I went with that.
He was already a little on the edge, and she just went ahead and pushed him right on off. She was like, "Yeah." And that was
I wasn't with that one at all. When she started doing the chants and everything, man, because that was the downfall right there, bro. That's my man.
That's where
just couldn't keep it going.
Yeah,
No, not for Tina.
Oh.
I ain't talking about for Tina. I'm talking about for Ike, man. What about Ike? Listen, I know he probably hit her and everything else.
About to turn this into the
I'm not standing up. Listen, I'm not standing up. I'm not taking up for his abuse, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. I'm not doing that part, right? But we have to understand why this nigga was doing drugs and creating all these hits, and he couldn't do it. You want to know? That's why he was angry, nigga. If I'm making all this magic and I can't be the star.
But I mean, at the end of the day, too.
Look at Jermaine Jackson. Look at Jermaine Jackson. This nigga look plastic to this day because he wanted to be Michael Jackson, bro.
Okay, so he does look like
imagine how much shit he created.
He does look like a Ken doll. Like, I will give you that. However,
I'm telling you,
Like, however, like that's not. There are plenty of people who write and produce for other people and never have their face on a fucking album, and they are perfectly fine with
Yeah,
that. So if
they
that is
cool
what
with
he,
it.
so
But
if
when
he
you
wanted
want to be
a
the star, it's not
then
the same
maybe.
thing.
And if he wanted to be a star, then why didn't he? Like you're
He
saying,
tried.
Like, he had everything he needed. Like
But
he could have not
was
gotten
trying.
okay,
Tina.
but you
No,
okay,
he
but you
was
put
the
this
star
woman in
before
your
her.
band
Yeah.
and you stuck her out there and was like, kick your legs, bitch, saying right now I'm gonna punch you in the eye. Like, did nobody do that?
He was
did
No,
already a
that.
that ain't how
star.
it went. That's not how it went. He
I'm
tried.
not saying
He
that's
was
exactly how
doing
it
the
went,
ad
but
libs. He started Proud Mary. He was doing the ad libs like she was doing her
okay,
thing.
so he
He was
brought her
already
into
a
this band,
star.
right? Is that not what you said? He brought her into this band, yes? Remember the
That is
original
true.
360 deal?
He
Remember?
was a
Said
star,
that?
Penrose. He was.
He was no star.
What?
How was he not a star in the way
He
that he was moving
he
that
was.
music?
His band
Before
was
Tina,
fire.
yeah, before Tina came along, he was already on the
Yeah.
path.
She
He was
stole
a
the
star in his
spotlight.
own right, and that's what I'm saying. Like there was
Yeah.
never he did not need Tina in that way. So to say that he's like, if you're jealous of her, why? You created this when you didn't have to.
Because he couldn't
You're
create it
jealous
for
of what you
himself though.
created.
She was at a higher level than he was though.
I think, but remember they were kind of doing the interviews, and she was kind of joking about him kind of being shy and quiet and reserved. And I think that is a lot of it too, right? You can be very gifted musically, be able to write, have a great pen, but you may just not have that stage presence or that kind of star persona. Because I think that even watching them perform together, he was kind of more, in the back, more reserved, like playing instruments. Right, playing the shit out the instruments, but not giving you that kind of electrifying performance that you get when you put Tina Turner on the stage in front of all these people and the lights come up and it's like an instant on with her.
Yeah.
And that's something that you only get from being a bona fide entertainer. And I think that he was a very good artist in his own right, but not a Prince or a Beyonce or a Michael Jackson or a Tina Turner.
Man, did y'all hear that reference track? Did y'all hear Quentin Miller's 10 bands?
Yes.
It didn't sound like Drake, did it?
Yes.
Man, don't do that.
Don't
Don't do
nobody
that
wanna
to
hear
Quentin, bro.
Airlane
Don't do that
Blues.
to Quentin, bro. Reference
Look.
tracks are different. It ain't nothing but the lyrics.
Can we just let him be wherever he is? God bless him, but let's not.
Don't get down on Quentin like that. Man.
I'm not down on Quentin. All I'm saying is Quentin.
Let that man live with his 32,000.
Yeah, his 10 bands was never supposed to pop.
All I'm saying is Ike had this thing going, but at the same time, he never would have reached the heights that they reached without Tina. And if he didn't have the ego for it, then he never should have started it.
But you got to think it probably was never ego. You got to, if we're talking about the whole documentary, you're talking about a dude who, for one, y'all brought the coke in. Let me just say, and don't ask me how I know, but the more money around, if you already a cokehead, the more coke you gonna fucking do. You take that into account with a nigga who's already, as far as relationships, been fucked up as a kid. And to be honest, when you in that lane and you Ike Turner, you probably didn't have problems getting women. But when you fucked up in the head, you probably had problems having relationships. Hence, kids from previous relationships and nobody there even when Tina come along. So if we can say that, trademarking the name and all of that it was abuse. But if you look at it, bro, like this nigga was wholeheartedly just fucked in the head. And the first person who showed him the kind of love he'd been looking for the last 17 odd years, he wholeheartedly
they put someone that pledged their allegiance to him and agreed to stay and promised not to leave. And when you are used to people abandoning you in your personal and professional life, and now you are kind of running on coke because now you have the money to fuel that. Yeah, I mean it makes perfect sense. It is, which I talk about serial killers in my other podcast, but it really is the perfect storm, right? You have these people who have lived these lives where they have their own demons and things that have fucked them up. And then they meet somebody else who gives them an unconditional love, almost like a puppy to an extent, because they look up to you and are enamored because they are also looking for love. And it's just like this two toxic puzzle pieces that just fit together perfectly. And now you have these people that are creating wonderful music, but are really bad for each other.
Facts. That's what I put in my notes, the perfect storm. Because her moving there, she wasn't even in St. Louis that long. She literally was coming there to find herself and fell into her dream.
and found him.
Yeah.
I found him.
So
Sad times.
She was chasing him though, man.
She was showing up
Oh,
in the
no,
joints
she
in
was
there.
chasing
Like
him.
she was doing a little chasing.
She said her sister took her to they went to Memphis to go see this band, and it was his band, and she just kept talking about she want to sing. She was
Facts.
chasing it, you know what I'm saying? But my thing is, you know what I'm saying, he did take advantage of her. She was only 17. And that little brother, big sister, I mean that big brother, little sister shit, I wasn't with that shit at all. I thought that was
shit
kind of
whack.
creepy. Yeah, that shit was
It is
weird
creepy,
as fuck.
but we're also looking at it through the lens of being, fully fleshed out adults who, in 2021 when things are much different because.
Well, but he admitted to changing it. That's the thing. Starting it that
Yeah,
way is not
like-
the issue. It's when you admit that you changed the relationship solely due to the fact that if you didn't, A, you could have never made her the star you tried to make her, and B, she could have possibly left you. That's disgusting as fuck.
I don't know,
Okay,
that's
so-
very
so-
gross and grimy, but I was talking about the fact of her being 17. Like, that shit's fucked up, but also that's really on par for the time. She's probably older than a lot of people. that
Tiger
are in
did the
some
same thing, though.
grown men.
Who?
Tiger. He did the
Tiger
same
Woods
thing
with
with
the nanny?
Kylie Jenner.
Oh no, he's
No,
talking about
Kylie
Tiger.
Jenner.
Oh,
He's talking about-
okay. Okay, got you.
He's talking about
that
Tiger
was,
with the
that was a couple
repos.
years back. So I think that's just when you in that industry, that's just something that they do.
I think it's one of those
That's
things where
something
they
that's
say
not
women
cool.
No,
mature
not cool at
faster
all.
than men, and then they are like, oh well,
That's
she's
not
just
true
so grown. It's not. No, anybody that will trust science sometimes, occasionally, and it'll tell you. No, it'll
Because
tell you.
Zendaya
that
still
there's-
looks 16.
Yeah, that's it. There's no link between the fact that like anybody matures at any age. Our frontal lobes develop well into our 20s, and that is
Mhm.
everybody. It's not men
Mhm.
versus women, whoever. So, but it's always that prevailing thing. Oh well, they're so adult for their age, and that's why you have all these child stars who were like running around in nightclubs at 14, and they're like, "Here, you want a drink?" Like that's why they all have fucking drug problems and are alcoholics because they've been drinking since they were 12 or some shit.
Oh, yeah. I think Drew
You almost
Barrymore
got
said
the
her
tear
first
in my
round
eye,
of coke
man.
was at 9.
At
I
8
could
or
have been
9,
one
yeah.
of those child
Yeah.
stars. Damn.
So I got a question. When do y'all think that relationship switched? Do you think it was when she got pregnant by the what was it? Was it the drummer? Oh, the guitar. Who was the guy she got pregnant by?
The drum.
It
She
was
got
the
pregnant
dude
by
that
the
played
drum.
the saxophone, wasn't it?
No, it was
Y'all
the
just want
drum.
to name instruments. It was a
One-
nigga.
yeah, everybody
They
do
didn't
that,
play
man.
an instrument.
He
Nigga,
gave
yeah,
the
man.
drummers some.
Somebody play the instrument. Yeah.
It's the nigga that
So
played
y'all-
the,
She
this
gave
one,
the
this
drummer
beast.
some.
you always got to get a drummer song.
You got to.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
why the
drummer's
nigga
the
was
man.
mad.
Yeah, that's
Nigga.
what do y'all think that's when it switched?
I think
Because,
so
like,
because he's like, oh, she really think I'm just her brother out here.
You got me giving this nigga a 10-minute drum solo. You
Come
giving
on,
him-
man.
That's
he getting solo.
That's
Then you
how
go
I
home with
write
him.
the
Like,
song.
nope.
Bitch, I put
That's
that solo in
crazy.
the song, nigga.
Right.
But she
Hey,
asked me too. No.
Listen, that switch when Ike had that. You remember when in the Temptations when David Ruffin walked out and he said, "I'm David Ruffin, and these are the Temptations." That's when the game switched. When Ike felt like that, that's when shit switched.
When it was like Tina Turner,
Damn.
but also Ike's back there, and it was like, oh shit, this is not gonna work. What do you mean Ike is back there?
Tina?
Ike is first. What are you talking about? What the fuck?
Can
What
you-
is this Tina?
Can you imagine how hard James Brown would have
Can't
smacked the
spell
shit
Ike
out of
with an I.
Maceo if he ever came out the back? That's what that
I'm-
was.
It'd have been over with. It'd have been over with. That shit would have been all in the Hollywood Reporter.
I always wondered
That
that.
shit
Like,
would have
okay,
been over with.
so unrelated. I always wonder this because like Frankie Beverly always performs with Maze, right? But he's not like in Maze. But then everybody's like, oh, Frankie Beverly's like in the front singing all the fucking songs. And it's like, damn, I wonder how Maze feels. Like,
Maze-
listen, I
Maze
fucking
is just
love
the-
Maze and Frankie Beverly, but
They
now
just a dope ass band.
As a collective.
No,
Like-
but
Yeah,
Yeah,
but now it's
they
like
just a
both.
dope ass band. That's
You
the best
imagine
part
if-
about having that band. That's like Roger and Zap. Zap just, you
Yeah.
know, they just do their thing.
Real shit.
Yeah, but do you
But can
think
you
that
imagine
pissed
the first
off his
time
Roger
Maze-
name?
Wait, wait.
There's not.
Nah. You remember?
Wait,
can you
isn't
imagine
Zap
the first
just
time Maze
isn't
showed
Zap
up?
just the two, or is that a person?
No, Zap is a band.
Like the whole band,
Tube-
right?
The Tube is the voice box, man.
Oh wait, you thought it was only the two?
You thought the Tube? You thought the audio box was Zap?
I just thought that he like named it something.
Is it? Wait, I would make you feel better because I thought Travis Porter was one person, so it's okay.
Okay, see, like a nigga first and last name. No, I really thought that. Like, I just thought he like I knew them other niggas was there, but I thought they was just but I just thought that he was like, I gotta give this nigga a name. He's on like
No,
the.
there's Zap. The audio box is also Roger Chapman.
No, I know it's Roger, but I'm saying I thought.
No,
he
it's a collective. It's a collect. He's not Roger Chapman without the audio box.
Okay, gotcha.
Roger and the niggas. It's good.
Roger and the niggas and Zach.
Oh my goodness.
Oh shit. Okay. See, you learn stuff every day.
That's funny.
That's amazing.
That is funny.
Oh
Man,
God.
that's crazy. Well, I
like
mean,
Zach is like a computer noise. Like it's like a,
no,
never
that's
mind.
just the name of the band. The only person in the band that wasn't fucking with Roger Chapman was his brother. Unfortunately,
Not his
y'all know how that ended.
Man, we know how that ended.
Yeah, his brother killed him.
Oh, I didn't know any of this.
Y'all ain't know that?
Yeah,
I didn't. I'm
I got
learning so much about Roger. Like,
Yeah, I got the low. He from here, so I know like all that shit. The whole city shut down when that shit happened.
damn.
Yeah, that
Right.
shit was wild. And then his brother killed himself. And then now it's just Zap.
Come on, man.
because in her head right now, all she's imagining is the little box by itself somewhere along the ass street.
When I said it, I instantly regretted it. As soon as I said it, I instantly regretted it.
I just saw like
Slowly make
I
the
saw, like,
whale
I
sounds and shit.
I just saw like a museum with like the one spotlight, like with just the fucking sad ass, just like little tube in the fucking machine.
I saw the tube on the bus stop in the rain.
Looking out the window and shit.
Oh man.
Oh man, y'all are fucking sick, bro.
Oh man. Oh man.
Tube on the bus stop though. It's not a, listen, it is not a tube, it's a box. It's a
I know,
tube
but the
connected to
tube-
a box.
but they
I
don't
keep
have
talking about
the
the tube.
the box don't be in the videos. The tube.
Yeah,
Tube
dude.
in the box.
It's
After
connected-
all
it's
this
connected
happened,
to the
Tube in the
keyboard.
box divorced. They separated, and so now they live in.
Oh,
The tube in the box divorce.
The tube somewhere living it up in Malibu. The box like
I'm not a tube. The tube is still touring. The tube is still
Box
The
touring.
is-
tube, right? The tube still
Yeah,
tours.
the
Like
box is at home pissed right now.
he's done some collabs with Jacquees.
You know,
Like,
the
he's
box don't get no royalties. This is a queen.
they was on the Little Mama Comeback tour and shit.
Nigga, you hear me? He on that new Bow Wow album, I'm sure. Like,
He tried to apologize to Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. They told her no.
Of
okay,
course.
because like again,
She didn't
like,
have to do that.
Bro,
Like,
she
I
didn't
wouldn't
do
accept that apology
nothing.
either.
All she did was get up and fold her arms like that. And they clowned her.
But like nobody wanted that. No one wanted that. Like, and it was just like, okay, but nigga, everybody, half of the niggas in the room was probably from New
Was
York. Would
probably
that have been
from-
okay? Like,
Man,
Nobody being
if you-
up there. It's not okay.
if Twista and Do or Die was on stage in Chicago and they finished Do You Want to Ride, you'd have hopped up there too. Like,
nigga,
No.
and 40,000 other people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if
That's
I'm
the
not,
whole entire
You gotta-
stadium.
you-
Like,
you-
what?
you got to
have
give her
to
credit for
gauge,
having the
no.
ball to do it though.
No, you don't.
No,
You gotta
and
get
then,
it. You want to know why today we still talk about even ODB, But when Kanye went on stage and interrupted Taylor Swift, you want to know why Kanye's still famous? Because his level of stardom said, I can interrupt this. You
I
Lil
can just
Mama.
go on stage, right?
Her
Lil
lip
Mama
was
couldn't
popping.
came on
That
stage with
wasn't-
me and not get flamed on goddamn.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like,
Y'all gonna act like Lip Gloss wasn't a #1 hit
I'm not gonna act like that, but I am
or
gonna
a top
act like,
10 hit?
Come on,
I-
Lil Mama existed in a
I don't
part
live
of
on
hip
Okay,
hop
Billboard,
one
nigga.
top
Like-
that
10
tried to go
hit.
back to the 80s. Yeah,
One
fuck
top
that.
10 hits,
She
Alicia
had 2
Keys
hits.
and motherfucking Jay-Z. And you
Lumi
think
G
I don't
had
have
it.
to
nigga, half
Lumi G
of
had
the
a hit.
people, half of the people there
Lumi
not
D
Bow Wow.
did not have a hit.
together and do a
Lumi D just was
fucking
saying,
lip gloss
uh-oh.
remix.
And
And
it
we
was a hit. And that shit was a hit. That's my point. That's what she said. We can't give
That
Lil
was-
Mama that shit.
That shit didn't pop till Fabulous got on it. Lil Mama
Half
was all
of
on
the
her
niggas-
own. She had everybody talking about how they lip gloss was popping.
And still to this
Half
day,
of the-
they say it. Give her
Half
credit, but
half of the
See?
niggas in the room thought she was Bow Wow when she got up there. So please, let's not.
That's why they mad at her then. They mad at Bow Wow. They
It was
mad at her.
Because it
MTV.
wasn't Bow Wow.
Y'all gonna leave
MTV,
Bow Wow
like,
alone
did not
too.
know
Bow
who the
Wow
fuck
is a
she
legend,
was.
okay? Get off of Bow Wow's back. Bow
Bow
Wow.
Wow
And
is a
that's
legend. Shad Moss is a fucking clown. Like,
there we go.
We
Good
don't
job.
got nothing to do with Shad Moss.
And Lil
We talking
Mama
about
is
Bow
not a
Wow.
legend.
Whatever
So
he do
that is
on the
why-
net, he's Bow Wow.
right. Bow Wow could have
You
gotten
said-
on stage is the point
Hold
we're
on, wait.
making.
You said whatever he do on the
Bow Wow
net,
could
he's
have
Bow
gotten
Wow?
up there and been
Yeah,
on
whatever
stage.
he do as far as the internet go, he Bow Wow.
So you mean that was Bow Wow that sat on that plane and took a picture of that other plane and said private jetting?
Yup.
while sitting
Or
in
that was
Coke?
Bow Wow
Yep.
when he spread out like 51s and laid on them. And niggas could count how much
Hey,
money
you
he was
can't-
laying on.
You can't judge. You
Okay,
can't judge him
so-
because he was trying to prank people.
What?
Okay.
This ain't like
He's
Usher
still-
Butts, my nigga.
So Taylor,
He might have had them. They might have been Bow Wow bucks. Maybe Usher got the idea from him.
I did not.
Tina, come back to us. What if,
Yeah,
no,
All right.
I can't. We can't go with this Bow Wow.
Okay. Back to Tina.
Yes.
Back to Tina though. Real
where's
talk,
Tina?
back to
Bring her
Tina.
back.
So, she decided to go rock and roll. Because I guess R&B just wasn't cutting it for her because white people couldn't write R&B at that time. So
Which I don't see, and I still don't get that. Like the whole rock and roll situation. I'm listening to the album, trying to figure out what.
what's
rock
the
and roll
difference?
about it?
The wigs was the rock and roll.
That was
No,
Okay,
it's
'cause I was
the-
like, make me
it's the-
understand because
it's the
she wasn't out here
drums.
making. She wasn't out here sounding like the Stones. So I'm just like, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
she
that was
was.
still that was a pop album more than a rock album.
Yeah, but no, she
that's
was,
what
she
I
was
would
definitely
argue.
sounding
See,
like the Stones.
I see, and which version of the Stones are you referring to? Like that's
Any
I'm talking.
any of them. She just got a soulful
and I don't-
voice, so
and
when
I-
she
and I
sing,
would
it don't
disagree.
sound like that.
Yeah, I don't
And
see
I
the
wouldn't-
Stones.
And I don't see it. Like for all intents and purposes, like I would like to say that they sounded like rock and roll albums, but it didn't. It did not sound like the rock and roll that people were putting out. Not to say that disqualifies her from making rock and roll music, but if you're making music to fit in a genre, it's very different than what it is today, where you have all these crossover hits and all these different sounds are qualified as things. And Justin Bieber thinks he can be in the R&B category.
No, okay, I see what you're saying, but it's different because at the time it's the instrumentation that decided what was what, right? And so
Okay.
since everything was played with actual instruments, it's harder to tell back then from an R&B to a pop to a rock and roll. It was more so in the cadence of their voice. It was more so in like a rock and roll would have a lot more drum, but it would be a lot more hi-hat and guitar. R&B would have drums, but it would be like more of a bass drum, more of a bass guitar. Yeah. And then pop would be more like a synthetic sound, if you want to use that. But those are kind of like those lines.
Theory. I'm just saying it doesn't.
I mean, it makes sense.
Like
because
I'm
when she
pretty well
changed-
versed, but it just wasn't resonating for me. It sounded very pop to me. I mean, and that's
Yeah, it did.
But I mean, I think that's because of her voice. I don't think that was necessarily the music behind it. Because I think that all of the music, if you just listen to the instrumentation behind it, all that shit sound like rock and roll and pop. I think it was just her voice because she got such a soulful voice that really made it sound like somewhat of an R&B song or somewhat of a pop song. Like her voice just wasn't rock and roll. So I think that's why a lot of people wouldn't make that connection.
I would argue that certainly like the musicality of the songs gives you rock and roll, but I would say that it certainly is more so that she, like we're talking about her, like I be ahead of his time 360 deal. I think she was kind of ahead of her time in sound, right? Like I think it was,
Yes.
but I really think that's so it is. Like I'm saying, you know, just with an ear that it doesn't really sound rock and roll, but really when you listen to it, like it could be any number of things. It doesn't sound like one particular thing. And I think that's probably what I should clarify. That's a valid point. Like it doesn't, I don't know that you can classify it as purely rock and roll, but I get what you're saying. For the musicianship, it does sound that way, but it's kind of.
Well, I was going off of her description too, because that's what she was saying. Like she was saying, like she wanted to be like rock and roll. So I guess when she was having the producers go through everything, management go through everything, her initial take was to go, you know what I'm saying, through that rock and roll path. Like she wanted to be like Mick Jagger and everybody else. So.
But I feel like maybe that's not where she ended up. If that makes sense.
You saying she failed?
No, I'm saying that maybe I'm saying that the sound that she maybe was pushing for is not it was refined, and that's not where she ended up in a purely rock and roll.
When she said she wanted to be like Jagger, I don't think she was actually talking about the music. I think she.
No, yeah, I mean, like as far as the sales, right?
The sales, She did that. I mean, even coming back from, she almost was just gonna be a Vegas act, and then she came back again. You see what I'm saying?
And that's crazy.
And still ended up being a Vegas act.
But it's
crazy. You think about Tina Turner just running around fucking Vegas, like doing cabaret. Like that's a wild shit to think about.
It really is, and
like that blew my fucking mind. Like she was running around Vegas doing like dinner cabaret to like pay some bills for me. Like that's insane. Yeah, like I would have never to pay bills. The motherfucker was usually.
Vegas usually is a place where people's careers come to die. So for her to have been here for so long and then still was able to come out and like be basically a new artist again, like a whole brand new artist. That was crazy. So R.I.P. to Usher, y'all.
Wow. I am you because I was going to ask you. Oh my God, is Usher's career dead now?
No,
they're giving free tickets away. Death. Yes, it do.
No, it don't.
Well, they let J-Lo
is still popping.
They let J-Lo do a residency, and then she came out and
when she first got her residency, she ended up in the Super Bowl the same year. As soon as she got that residency.
Remember Drake did it too.
And then what?
Yeah, Drake had a residency.
No, he didn't.
And then she performed it New Year's Eve, and she featured an Aerosmith song, and she slid across the stage.
Very important to know that when J-Lo had a residency and when Drake and Cardi B and those type of people have residencies out here, it's not really a residency. They fly in. They'll come like 2 times out of the month, or 3 times out of the month. It's not a residency. So Drake had a residency, but he was here like 3 times, 2 or 3 times,
Drake did a repeat
like every couple months.
That nigga had tour dates.
Same city and shit.
Same thing with Cardi B when they reopened the Palms. Like that's not a residency. A residency is a nigga on the strip doing 2 to 3 shows a night every weekend night. Every weekend night. And that's what Usher signed up for. And I don't care what you say about J-Lo. She did a terrible, terrible job. And all we care about now is who she getting divorced and not getting married to. And same thing goes with
she was in the Super Bowl though.
Okay, with who else is there?
Where are the album sales? Like that, that's like she's an artist or is she a Super Bowl
right? Listen, like what Super Bowl is the biggest stage you can be on.
People love Shakira.
And then what happened after that?
I don't know. I don't buy her music. I just know she was at the Super Bowl.
Okay, so nobody else buy it either. So there's
it ain't no music to buy. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
And then she just do a video with Did you see it? Cardi B.
Did you see it?
No,
Did you see it? Did you see it? Did anybody see it?
Like he's putting out music and no one keeps buying it.
Usher's in the news because
hold on, wait a minute.
Y'all wouldn't even know he was coming here to die. You wouldn't even know he was coming here to die if the stripper didn't tell on him. Y'all wouldn't even know he was coming here to die, and he is coming here to die. Like he has a residency. Like he has a burial plot. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you?
Okay, I got a question.
They're giving away free tickets on the radio.
Did she really tell on him though?
No,
they
because
said
that
that
was
was
promotion.
Yeah,
I
he
think
said
that
it
was
was
set
fake.
up.
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
that was set up. to do
I'm
that.
sure that's Ush Bucks is when you go to the free show.
I
when
think he tweeted that.
I
Well, they
wouldn't be
said that
surprised.
he went
From
to
a
the
burner.
strip club and that
From
he
a
tipped
burner.
everybody very well and paid his tab. And one of the people in his
and threw
entourage
Ush
left a
Bucks.
little fake money up there or whatever. Like apparently he didn't even do that. But also
I don't know
the
about that part. He did that
well, the
shit 'cause he
Department of
was
the
posing
Treasury
in a
don't
picture
believe it
with him.
either. So say what you
Facts.
want to say. The
Yeah, that
IRS
shit in
and
the clear
Department of the
suitcase.
Treasury don't believe it either.
It was promotion for his burial plot, y'all.
Listen,
So
you
give
wanna
away
know
free
what's funny?
tickets.
Well, the people
wanna know
printing the
what's
money
funny about Resident
said you got too many
His
different
burial plot.
denominations of money and you gonna have to come talk to us.
Look, when we was
That
about to
Because if
nigga-
I don't know shit
IRS is
else,
gonna
I know
kill
how to
that
count
nigga.
other people's money. And when the Federal Reserve is like, you're gonna have to take our phone call, dude. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So
right.
I don't know
I
what
didn't
he
know
got
that
going,
that
but you're right.
I
Usher
didn't
come
know
in here
that
so he can
residency
keep his
shit meant-
so he can keep his Wi-Fi on. I'm like, don't
Look,
do this. Like,
I didn't know that shit meant you that was like your career is over. But I did. Now that you say that, I find it funny that one of the things they tried to sell us on when we were trying to throw the party last year was Usher is coming out here to do a residency. I didn't know what the fuck that meant, but I was just like, oh,
Nothing.
okay, that's cool.
Well,
Tom
we weren't
Jones
gonna
got a
go there.
residency,
We weren't
don't
gonna
he?
go.
I don't know if he
but I'm
has
talking
one anymore.
about
But
when we were trying to
people
get
have
married.
residencies, and it's going to start off amazing, right? People are going to come, and all the seats are going to be filled. But then like in a couple of months, nobody gives a shit, and he's locked into this contract, and people gonna see him disgruntled at Starbucks and shit. Like, don't nobody want to deal with this.
This nigga Tom Jones been in Vegas for years though.
Who?
And he been living.
Because
Tom
old
Jones.
white people. Because I mean, okay, right, but is
But
he
he's
ever going to
old
get
and
out?
He been
white.
singing that same song for years.
Yes.
You think Tom
okay,
Jones
but what I'm
got-
saying is that's what I'm. Guys, when I'm
He
saying
gotta
his
be.
career come to die, I mean the song that
He's
you have
singing.
when you sign up for your residency is the song that you're going to sing until you die. You are not. There's nothing else new. There's nothing else. This is it. Just wrap it up.
He's singing the
These are
songs from
everything. This is all we want.
1965. Like he's singing
No,
songs from when
You
And-
keep
and
making
white
it
people
plural. It's
hearing.
only one song.
It's not unusual.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
What's
well,
up? What's,
yeah.
He got What's New Pussycat?
Come
Yeah.
on, fam. Nobody know that
Whoa,
song.
whoa.
That's it.
Whoa.
That's what the song.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's the intro. That's the intro into "It's Not Unusual."
And only a few bars of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has
He said, he said, do you
1.175
think Tom Jones
songs.
is happy? Yes, that nigga only got to sing 1.25 songs and he getting millions.
Okay,
that
but
nigga's living life.
he not
But
making
he
his money
also
off
is
of the
past-
residency. He making his
Right.
money off of royalties. Like he
But
not
he's also
like,
past the
like
age
how
where
many
he-
people are still of age and still trying to come see? Like all of his fans are dying. Like, do you hear what I'm saying to you? Like
it's some white kids out there that's going to see Tom Jones. Carlton is
But I
only
think
what
it's
40 something, 50
nostalgia.
something now.
Who?
and niggas know that as the Carlton dance song.
That's what I'm saying. So now they definitely going to see that nigga now because Fresh
a
Prince
bit of
played
nostalgia.
all day on MTV. Y'all
I
gotta
thought
give
this
him
was
credit.
like
Didn't Tina
ridiculous.
Turner have a residency?
No,
Well,
she was
she
doing
did the
cabaret
cabaret
shows.
shit. But what I'm
No, I'm
saying,
saying,
She was
I'm, saying
down
after,
bad.
I'm talking about after she got back to that. I think she had a residency.
maybe, but again, when I say to die, I mean that's it. Like that's the end. That's the Boyz II Men of your shit. There is
So
nothing
that's
else.
what- that was
You
her
are going
last
to be
stop.
singing the rest of these songs. He is going to
Right,
be
but
leaving the one he with and starting a new relationship. That's it, forever. Okay, like that's it. Like ain't nothing
There's
else.
no expectation of
That
more
means
albums.
we also don't
You're not
need
trying to
anything.
put out videos. You're just
Exactly.
there performing the shit you already
He
have.
about to go. He about to break the glass
want
on his
nostalgia.
U chain.
Yeah.
He might
That's
pull
what-
a Tina Turner though. He might pull a Tina.
He not though. Don't nobody
Okay.
want to hear this nigga.
I got
Didn't he try
a
that already? Wasn't he giving us some shit
Yeah.
called No Limit or something? And
no limit.
and there was
Like-
a limit. And there was
a limit on how long that
The
was
limit
gonna
has
be
been
okay.
reached. The limit was
Yeah,
reached a long
already.
time ago.
And God bless
But
him. because
anyway.
Usher sounds phenomenal. Voice is still great, but that's not
Beautiful gowns.
How do
Beautiful
y'all feel
gowns.
about Angela Bassett's face when Tina Turner was at the what is that, the Comic
At the
Con
press conference?
And then know who she
conference,
was?
whatever it was? No. It wasn't about did they know she was. When they was like, did you
When they
see
was
the
sitting
movie?
next to each
And
other.
Tina
And she was
Turner
like,
was
no, I
like,
ain't see that
nah,
shit.
I ain't see the movie.
I loved
She
it.
was like, I don't want to
I
relive that.
appreciated that.
Yeah, that's real.
But
I
did y'all
like
see?
Twitter.
Did y'all see Angela Bassett's face though?
Her
She
face
looked a
was
little
in.
hurt.
She
Her face is
little.
when you walk in
You see them
when a
legs? She
woman when a
worked out
woman
for that
walk
movie.
in
Like,
look though when a
Listen,
woman
and
walk
I hate
in with her
that for her,
boyfriend
but you
when a
can't
woman
sign
walk
up
in
to
with
be
her
the star in
boyfriend
somebody else's fucking trauma porn and then expect them to be like, yeah, I totally watched that shit so I could relive
I love the part when he beat your
motherfucker
ass and
P.
raped you.
I really
Why
wanted
y'all
to
let her
relive the
make it
time that
then?
nigga choked me out.
nah it ain't about why they let her make it. For one, when a woman walk in with her boyfriend and her and his mama be like, who is you? That's the face
That's
Angela
the
Bassett
look.
made.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the one.
I
That
And
was
it's
the one.
sad. And maybe
Them
she could have
making it
handled it
was-
better and been like, I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I'm sure it's wonderful. I'm sure she could have did the PR spin
She handled
and
that
made
shit
it just
perfect.
be whatever. If you wanted to say some nicer shit, I'm sure she could have PR spent it into something. But the bottom line is that's still that person's life. Like that's
she
still
was
her
at
life.
she was at a win-win though. It was like anything she said, Angela Bassett can't really say nothing to her because it's like you just
What you
played
gonna
me in
say
the
to
movie,
fucking Tina
fam.
Turner? What you
She
gonna
was
say to
gonna get
Tina
sunned
Turner? Not a
regardless.
goddamn thing. You can't
Right.
say shit to
Yeah,
Tina
she's gonna
Turner.
get sunned regardless.
But the fact is that a lot, like they said, like she privately is Anime Bullock, but when it comes to Tina Turner, she is a star, and the people own you. The people you don't get to have privacy, and that's what we see with a lot of stars. So your private pain is on public display. What are you supposed to do with that? She's been living that hell for years, for decades, and then they put out a
Agreed.
movie and they want to keep asking her the same motherfucking questions about a bitch she don't care about. It was whooping her ass. I feel her. Like I don't
But
want to hear that.
it was only the white reporters though.
How many times though after that movie came out did niggas see her in public and ask her to eat the cake though?
Exactly.
Right,
Like,
probably.
Like that's probably
That's
the shit.
funny.
You feel me?
like they probably did not let that woman have a fucking 20 minutes of rest about
I'm
that
just
shit.
glad that shit ain't come out when Twitter was out because niggas would have been tweeting that shit
Nigga.
all day
Flaming.
long.
Like it'd have been a mess.
Nigga, all the
Anything
gifts.
she tweeted, the reply would have been eat the cake, anime.
And that's
That's
funny.
funny.
And that's terrible. That woman deals with serious trauma from that. Like she is still trying to unpack that. And they're just like, well, whatever. Where's Ike Girl? Like whenever the point was like, he got arrested for a drug possession. What are your thoughts on that? What the fuck does she care?
Yeah.
Like and then she had to
so-
be like, I wish him well. I hope he is doing blessed and pleasant things. But she probably hopes that nigga dies. Like it's just
Yeah, nigga.
So
Like,
was the musical of the same story of the movie, or was that just like something different?
I don't know,
I don't
but I
know.
can't imagine it.
I don't know, and I can't even
What's
imagine
love
what
got to do with it
The
as a musical?
Like
Yeah,
when you say
they had
musical,
Tina
you
Bitch,
Turner
eat
the
the
musical.
cake. Bitch, eat the cake.
They called her Tina.
They call her Tina,
My
but
name
I
is
just
Diana.
can't
Yo, the
I
bitch
said
eat the
Tina.
cake. If they got the Oompa Loompas doing that shit, bro, that shit
Nigga.
is gold. That shit is gold,
Anime,
fam.
Look at that.
They got the whole chorus. They got a giant cake that wheels out in the middle of that bitch, and like somebody. It's a whole thing.
They got dude in the shadow. He ain't even really on the stage, and then they go real deep and dark. He was like, "Bitch, eat the cake."
Oh my god! Like he's a
As a
Phantom
fade
of the
out.
Opera. Yeah,
Yeah.
a mask and a cloak.
Yeah, hey, that's sick, man.
For some reason,
okay,
for some
did
reason,
Oprah have
somebody
something to
decides
do with
that-
this as well? Because I don't understand why Oprah was in this.
Didn't they say she was a friend? Why?
Because she aligns herself with black people when it's convenient.
When it's
I
convenient
think
for
what
her.
it was is that
Oprah
she
is
was
not her
coming
friend.
kind of a no, but I
Oprah
think
ain't
Oprah
nobody's
was.
friend.
It was kind of in a place where Oprah was still popular, and she was coming off a book and a movie, and like they talk about in the documentary, it resonated with a lot of people, right? Because people that kind of grew up or born in that time and married in that time felt like they had to keep these things private, right? You didn't talk about the things that went on in your household. You didn't talk about outside babies. You didn't talk about abuse. You didn't talk about the fact that your husband is drinking all y'all's money away and y'all can't pay. You didn't talk about those things in mixed company.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And so for her to come out and be very vocal about the abuse she suffered, I think in a way was kind of a call to arms for a lot of women that felt like they had to be silent about it because nobody was going to believe them. And like she said, if Tina Turner can survive this, then so can I. And I mean, I don't want to get all touchy, whatever, because I mean, Tina Turner's not necessarily in my age group, but I'm somebody who has survived domestic abuse, and so I can appreciate that. I can appreciate where she is coming from, and it's all jokes, and I'm not going to be all like, "Oh, I'm triggered by anything we said here," because I've kind of grown past that. But I get it. I understand where she's coming from. In that space of, I don't want to keep reliving this every single day by people that don't know me and keep asking me questions about shit that I am just trying to bury. Like, I am just trying to move forward with my life. And every time I turn around, it's the same fucking questions that I have been answering for 12 years.
That's how Chris Brown feels.
I'm 6 years removed. I'm 6 years removed and don't want to hear that shit. I definitely don't want to
Chris Brown.
Yo, why? Like,
he is sick and tired of being asked that goddamn question. He is over it. He's trying to move on and turn over a new leaf.
I will say this: Rihanna said she forgave him and moved on.
Let it go.
Yeah, actually, when Rihanna said she was over it, everybody needs to be over it. When Rihanna said she was over it,
you can't be more mad about abuse than the abuse. Like, sometimes you have to just
take those. This motherfucker got to take it there though.
His cocaine use in the 97 tracks on his albums. Like, I don't really care so much about.
Like, that part is that's here nor there.
I'm concerned about how often he's sleeping. Like,
he's productive. He is productive. When he stop being productive, that's when we got to get him off cocaine.
Listen,
until then, let him do
his thing. Start drooling and shit.
Let him ride the white horse.
Black people stop liking Eminem the minute that man put the cocaine down.
Because nobody wants to hear nobody want to hear no white man rap about his white bag, nigga. Get out of here.
Facts.
Like you could have did that without rap. Like, what the fuck? Like,
you can't be successful and rap about it.
Nigga, I'm from Detroit, and I was still like, white boy, please.
Yeah.
I mean, because the truth of the matter is, right? We all love an underdog story, but who the fuck wants to hear about a white man? Because honestly, I hear about a poor white man, and I'm like, so you just fumbled the bag? Like, you're poor for what reason?
That's all I see.
Like,
that's all I see.
White homeless people, white poor people.
That's
I'm like, you're a white man. Like, all you have to do is be mediocre. Like, I have no.
I can't give a dollar. I can't give a dollar to a homeless white man. Like, I can't, because like it's like you super fumbled the bag, and I can't be
like you
fucked up.
Because you gonna start the revolution.
Like, you could parlay that into nothing.
But y'all don't be around enough white people. Like, they got tiers of white people. So it's like,
I know they got tiers of white people.
Yeah, so like, if you ain't in that certain tier, you ain't getting there.
I live in the South. Of course, I know there are tiers of white people. That doesn't matter.
But when you up north, it's a whole. Especially if we talking about a white boy that lived in Detroit. Now listen, I'm from there. You're not gonna make me believe that just because you lived in a trailer park you couldn't do shit. Yeah, he probably did come from a little shitty situation. You're still a white boy.
You better walk your ass over to Goodwill. Get yourself a suit and tie from the Goodwill. Take your ass over there, put on your code switch, and get a motherfucking job, sir.
You don't take your black friends into an interview, nigga.
Exactly.
Like, what are you saying? Like,
he was rapping. You do take your black friends to the interview when you rapping. What are you talking about?
Okay, but no, we talking about he need a real job.
He was working a real job. Remember, he was in the factory.
Yeah, he was in the factory.
Y'all seen the movie?
Yeah, we right. Okay, can we get off of Eminem?
He was rapping in the movie.
Back to Tina.
That's not look irritated with us. Would have been a manager.
We all in the same thing. But I feel like Tina Turner, man, she really is. She was that blueprint for like Beyonce. To me, that's why I see the most when I look at that offspring of those other stars. Like Mary J. Blige wasn't there yet. Like, now she's at that place where, like, when she performs, I guess you could call that dancing. And then, like,
or singing. We could maybe even call that
whatever.
Singing.
You can call it a lot of different things.
No, I'm not talking about the singing part. We know Mary J. Blige can sing. I'm talking about, like, as far as the performance. Yeah, Mary J. Blige can sing.
Again, when you take the artist off of cocaine,
that I can sing.
Y'all ain't gonna do the queen of hip hop.
Listen, the same thing. Hold on, wait. The same.
She's your lover and your secretary.
Remember, we talked about the level. We talked about the level of stardom, right?
Right.
You wholeheartedly brought up that you will not defend Ike's beating and all of this, but look at his musical, this, that, and the third. The whole reason that Tina was a star has to tie back to the cocaine and all the bullshit. Clearly, KC, we not gonna be like, oh, KC was pimping this shit and beating this shit out of Mary. That nigga had her on coke cracking. It's the same fucking thing. This is why As soon as she got off coke and stopped getting her ass beat and gave us this happy ass album, we bought it out of loyalty. Nobody bumped that shit. Like,
See, she should have just kept it in the dancery, and everything would have been cool. She should have kept it in the dancery, everything would have been straight.
I agree.
Okay,
She should have left it there and then went right back to the
jam. I don't give a fuck about none of that. To
me, I think Beyonce is like that. Is at that Tina Turner? Well, I ain't gonna say addict. She probably past it now, but like to me, that's when I see Beyonce. Like that's what I see. I see that blueprint of Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you.
VJ, you don't agree?
I would say Michael Jackson, but I get it.
She's nowhere near Michael Jackson.
Listen, whoa.
Not near, like not stratosphere of Michael Jackson, but blueprint, right? Like child star. Like I'm not saying
technically,
because Beyonce didn't have no trials and tribulations in her life. Like,
right.
She just
what she do? What had to kick out niggas?
Her daddy left the family in the midst of in the height of their career. He broke up they group just
my
to
daddy
force
left the
her
family
to be
at the worst motherfucking economic time in my house.
Like
What
her daddy wanted her to be a star, and he kicked out two bitches that barely sung on the album. Oh my god! Oh,
you
so
win
much
that
drama.
argument. I'm just saying. Listen,
worst thing ever happened to Beyonce was being in the
her
video.
Career.
She told the bitch to leave the booth, and it was better for her to get on a plane without her motherfucking luggage. So Beyonce got a lot of her daddy in it. Got a lot of her daddy and her sweetheart. So this bullshit about her daddy traumatizing her is the mother of bullshit. The daddy ain't traumatized her.
About her husband, right?
Did she? I'm starting to believe that was just a fucking ploy.
He was
her
like
daddy taught her everything she needed to motherfucking know.
She was like Tina Turner,
and that's why she kicked the bitch out the studio and told her she could get her luggage later.
Nah, forget that luggage. Look, she was in her group like Tina Turner. She was hot, and then she left her group like Tina Turner. Then built herself up to be even greater than what she was in the group.
Okay, but when nobody
doubting you watch the same Beyonce, we watch.
When nobody doubting Beyonce, when nobody like, Beyonce too old to perform. Like the fuck?
You ain't gonna be nothing without Latavia.
Right, you're spinning the Beyonce story like any of us was like, oh, them
Beyonce was in Destiny's Child, and the joke was always that it was Destiny's children or Beyonce's children. Did nobody ever expect that girl to be in that group forever?
Again, like, this is David Ruffin.
Yes, you did.
I'm David Ruffin, and these are the Temptations. That's what we always do.
It was because of Beyonce daddy. Beyonce daddy is like the Ike Turner situation in a more unincestuous way. So listen.
Every group you've never seen break up, they all seen equal parts. This is why Dawn technically got kicked out of En Vogue. This is why Total never broke up. This is why motherfucking SWV never broke up. This is what girls who sing the same parts, nigga. We watched Beyonce for one. Think about this. They all a group.
Beyonce was never the best singer in the group.
I didn't say
She's
that.
not the best singer, but she was star of the group, and everyone fucking knew
she
that.
Wasn't even the star of the group for real. They just kept putting her in front.
Who was
okay, baby? Okay, sweetheart.
Kelly Rowland was definitely the star of the group and the best singer.
Okay. I don't really think this Kelly really stepped in her stardom. If we talk about not writings on the wall, like she wasn't there yet, like at all.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, Kelly was always fine.
We're not saying that, but we're not saying
that. We just saying
no. I just heard writing on the wall, and I went to a flashback. She was always fine.
And she was. She was always gorgeous.
And she was always the best singer.
And I will give you that.
It was Kelly Rowland, LaToya Luckett, and then Michelle and Beyonce could have duked it out to see who was third.
Not Michelle and Beyonce.
LaToya.
LaToya got pipes.
LaToya can sing. I have her debut album.
LaToya Luckett can sing.
I have her debut album too, but you giving her a little bit much.
No,
it's a
she
lot.
Can sing better
and
than
then
Beyonce.
You giving her a lot. Like I'm not gonna give her second best in the fucking group. Like goddamn, like that's a lot. Like third.
Can she sing better than Michelle?
Okay, well you and I can probably sing better than Michelle.
I need you to tell you.
She can sing better than Beyonce, so she's second.
Get your friend.
Her voice be a little flat sometimes, baby. Like I don't.
This is gonna let your
Beyonce,
man go like this?
Beyonce
He's gonna let
Beyonce
you know
and still got to duke it out for third. Whoever
You know
come
what?
out
Fuck
on
it.
top
That's
is third.
fine. You know what? That's fine. The point here is that most people that saw Beyonce recognized that she had a star power that was going to surpass the group of people that she was making music with.
Same
Period.
thing with
So
Tina
you can
Turner.
say what you
Why
want
they-
to say
why they
about
didn't-
Matthew when he broke
Same
up
thing with
or
Why
Tina
they
whatever
didn't
the
Turner.
cast?
fuck,
Why they
or he
didn't
pushed
cast?
her or whatever.
What's her
That
name?
lady was never gonna
Why
keep
they didn't
making
cast
music with
Kelly in the
Destiny
case
Child.
video? They didn't put Kelly in the case
Why
video.
Kelly went in the case
In the
video?
case video.
Yeah, she was in Fate of
Happily
That was
ever
only-
after. Happily
No,
ever
time
after.
out.
Ever
Time
After,
out.
yeah.
We forget there's only light skinned girls in the 90s. Come on.
That's
don't
a
do
lie
that.
because they all was in the seven. I
Don't do
mean,
that.
all them girls from what's the name was in
Nah,
That's
that's
true.
a lie. The
Subway
biracial
video?
light skin takeover is recent.
It was in the song.
Dark skinned girls in the 90s videos. It was dark skinned
They
girls.
was in the song with Subway.
I know that, but what I'm saying, she was in the song with Case. What you say?
That's why she was
She
in
was-
it then.
Listen, my point is,
I'll be right here.
Her daddy was ahead of the group, bro.
Stay
Like,
with me.
okay.
if Kelly's daddy was ahead of the group, Kelly would have been the star.
you're- okay, so you're strengthening the point that we're
Nigga,
making.
who was
No-
Kelly's daddy?
Exactly.
Matthew Bowles is her daddy. So what the fuck do you even say? Like,
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, without Matthew Knowles, right?
What you got to
Beyonce
understand
don't become the star she is. Without Ike, Tina don't become the star
Look,
she is.
in your
And that's
defense
a
of
fair
Kelly,
assessment.
Kelly knew that. This is why Kelly is always like, yeah, that's my cousin. She don't do it a lot, but she does it enough to let us know that I was okay with riding this motherfucking coattail. So the defense of Kelly, like, it just don't work. Beyonce was meant to be the star. I feel you. Now the Tina Turner
built
shit I
it
give you.
But that's
They
what
built
I said.
it around
That's what I
her.
said. It seemed like she's the one that had that Tina Turner blueprint.
I'll give you that. Because the dance, some of the ways that she projects herself as an artist on stage, I can see the Tina.
That performing, man, I'm telling you, for real.
I give you that.
She
The
can perform her
performance
ass
art.
off. Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
that's fair.
I can't believe y'all doing my girl Kelly like that. Y'all disrespectful.
We're not disrespectful. We checking the album sales, bitch,
We
like
love
Maxwell
her,
said.
but we love her. But we
Album
really
sales
do
don't
gotta
mean
check
nothing.
the-
We
White
check
people
numbers,
buy
bitch, like
albums.
Maxwell said. Like that's
White
what you
people
think
buy
real
albums.
good.
If you're
White people
not
buy
gay,
albums.
if you're not gay,
And
you
that's
miss
fine.
Kelly's tracks all the time. Like if you're
Hold on,
not, if you're not in
She
the gay
said-
clubs,
and she
if
said
you're
real
not
good,
in
but the songs are not good.
if you're not in the gay clubs, you don't even hear Kelly's music. Like when do you
I
hear
heard
her
resent
it
music?
that statement
heard
because
a
I don't
song
go
the
to
other
gay
day on the
clubs,
playlist.
but whatever.
But you
I heard a song
okay?
on
But
Spotify the other
do you
day.
hear her
You know
music
who the fuck it
willingly?
was.
No, she
You
said it's
listen-
a difference. It's a difference between you actually pressing play on your own shit as opposed
That's what I'm
to
saying.
just
I'm not
riding
saying
mine.
that. I'm saying if I'm
Motivation was on the radios when it came out.
oh
That's
god,
one
because
song.
Lil Wayne was
Okay,
Wayne
and you
was
still
on
press the play on it, right?
It was
You
it
still
still
listening
came
to
out. It was still on
You
there.
still
You
listening?
still listen
You still
to
press
it?
the
The
play?
one
So
with Trey
that's for
Songz,
you.
I do. The one with Trey
The
Songz.
one with Trey Songz.
Ugh.
Okay, well, all right.
Not big rich town, nigga.
Like, okay.
Hey, y'all not gonna do my nigga Trey Songz like that, bro.
Not spitting bitches
He didn't
out
wanna
there
do
in
that
the
song.
pandemic.
That's
Like,
not
okay,
Ray.
whatever.
Ray this
Like,
man, please.
He
Get your
didn't want to
friend.
do
Get
that
your
song. It was a
friend.
favor for 50. It was a favor for 50. He was like, I'll try it, but I'm telling you, they're not gonna like it. 50 didn't listen. That's all.
Well, he sounds like a
Bruh.
goat, so it is what it is.
I've never seen
I was
niggas
on
band
the
together
call.
so quick. I don't think
I mean,
niggas watch that.
Now I have
Niggas
to go
didn't even watch
listen
the
to whatever
episode.
this is. Kelly Rowland and a
turned it
goat
off.
singing motivation. Now I have to hear this.
Why you gotta be a goat?
Because that nigga sounds like a goat.
Maybe that's his style of singing.
He don't wanna leave.
That's
And
my
I'm
shit.
not doing this. I'm not doing this
Anyway.
with y'all, man. That's disrespectful.
We're not doing this with you.
I fuck with Trigger. Trigger out there, man. Trigger had all the young girls, you know what I'm saying, when he was that age doing their thing, and I was that age too. And I was like, yo, I know how to get them. And it was Trey Songz. Trey Songz helped me out from 2007 to 2010.
What did he help you do?
You
I
know
don't
what
give a
I'm
fuck.
Tell you on this
What did he help you
I'm not
do?
gonna tell you on this platform, but let me put it like this. The neighbors knew my name.
So you were just listening to Trey
It was a
Songz
whole
in the
bunch of
background
Jupiter
while
love
you
going
were.
on. It was a whole bunch of Jupiter love going on.
Not the super duper Jupiter love.
You know what I'm saying?
That is
Actually, that's his best
sad.
song. That's his best song.
Yeah, you
That is
want to
sad.
know the
Okay.
only you know the one thing about Trey
I'm
Songz,
sad.
like I fuck
I am
with him as
deeply
an artist,
sad by
but
this
look,
I couldn't
information.
think of another
Listen,
song title. I was trying to come
you
back
want
with
to know
another.
the
Niggas was
funniest
just
thing
sucking
about
his
Trey
Trey songs.
Songz?
Like, I am sad. I am
Niggas
so
fucking-
fucking sad. Like I am sad. Like I am disturbed. Like I want to hang this goddamn StreamYard the fuck up. Like what the fuck?
You are not gonna shame me right now.
I did. Shaming works, sweetheart. Maybe you stop listening to Goats. Like I don't know what you want me to say. Shaming works.
What else was I supposed to listen to?
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
I mean, think about it like this. It
Anything.
could be worse. Niggas
Tina
was fucking
Turner.
with Pretty Ricky.
I'm
Niggas used to
not
fuck with
listening
Pretty
to Tina
Ricky.
Turner trying to get some
Niggas
draws.
was
That's
listening
not
to
gonna
what?
work. You trying to
I
kill the
said,
night?
I mean,
I don't like
I can
music,
let
so
Trey, I can let the Trey go
Trey songs
because
anyway.
niggas used to fuck to Pretty Ricky. Like I've heard, like niggas
Who did
like
that?
some.
No.
People used to
That's fucking
fuck
music, though.
Not me, but I know people that
That's
definitely
fucking
did.
music though.
Like,
They
That was
were
fucking
fucking.
music at the time.
They were humping ottomans to Pretty Ricky, so that's
Exactly.
not really indicative of anything. Like they were just doing everything.
That's
yeah,
what turned the
that
party
was
up right
a
there.
weird time.
As soon as Pretty
Did
Ricky
it?
come on,
Listen,
turn
man,
the light off in the
and
That
basement.
was a weird. That was a
And
weird
just
time
show
in
difference-
music history.
That show
like-
difference in generation. Because if Pretty Ricky was the type of shit that would have came on at our like high school or young adult parties, our niggas would have been like, "Who the fuck got the fucking aux cord or whatever the fuck we was using back then?" That shit, come on, man.
And
Hold
that's
on, wait a
the thing.
minute.
I used to listen
Penrose,
to
how old are you?
Ricky when I was listening in the car with my friends and we were singing along and like laughing because the lyrics were bad. Like
Right,
we weren't
right,
like
yeah, them niggas trash,
engaged.
bro.
Like,
Like,
we
I
were
was
like,
okay, whoa,
I'll
Yes,
tell you,
like,
I'll tell you my
oh my
age. I'll tell
God.
you my
Like-
age. The nigga that did it for me when I was in the club at a young age trying to be that nigga was Dream. I Love Your Girl. That was my song. Nigga,
I
I'm
love
taking
your
your bitch.
girl.
Yeah, bitch. Oh man, listen. Dream was that nigga
Little
for
mama,
me.
so.
I
First
love
off-
your girl.
Little
First
mama
off-
so fly. Hey. White
So
feet
I'm
with the
assuming
kiddos.
you like mid 30s, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank-
So I'm a little bit younger than you then. So listen,
Okay, it
the
makes
dream,
sense because we
the
were
dream
like,
is
what?
the dream is different. The dream was riding music. The dream wasn't club music for me because I wasn't listening to Take Your Girl. I was listening to Playing in Her Hair. So I feel
Oh,
you.
it
But
was-
the dream, the dream
Purple
could go
Kisses,
two different
nigga.
steps.
Purple Kisses
Two
is
different
that shit.
That's my favorite.
Purple Kisses is that shit.
Flashbacks. Don't do this.
Come
Don't
on,
do
man.
this.
But I'm
That
saying when
album
you
was
in the
like-
basement, when you in the basement at somebody's house, you know what I'm saying, and they got that different color
Juke
light bulb
party?
in there.
Juke party.
H-Town. We had H-Town. And I so I get what you mean
H-Town?
in the sense of that music. But Pretty Ricky sucked, bro. Pretty Ricky sucked.
No,
bro.
I was very little. I was very small when
I was like, wait a minute,
Man,
what
listen.
the fuck?
If y'all was
92.
playing,
Who
if
were
y'all
you
was
fucking?
playing H-Town
I'm
at
talking about
club,
H-Town. No,
At
not at the
the club?
club. No, you said in the basement.
oh
part.
in the basement party, if you was playing
Yeah.
H-Town in the basement party, y'all was desperate.
In 94?
That was like last call.
94,
No.
H-Town.
This is like
I'm
2000
not
something.
talking
He talking
I'm not-
about.
No, I'm not.
That
no,
was-
no. Nigga, my basement parties, my high school age was in the 90s.
But you were
bro. What
listening to
talking
Oh,
H-Town.
okay. Well, that's cool then. Yeah,
It
no,
came
that's
out in
cool.
like
My high
94.
school parties was in like 2000s. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
From
If niggas was
2007
playing
to
H-Town,
2010.
nah,
You're
Yo,
a
I'm telling
baby.
Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah, I'm
you
young.
are, Scoop.
Yeah. Okay, y'all ain't gotta do that though. Y'all ain't gotta do that. I still listen to H-Town and all that. I'm just saying. When I was in the basement, that's what they was playing. I didn't have the, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, look, he's a baby.
Oh, wow. The
Niggas get to
disrespect.
talking about niggas. I remember being a young nigga in rooms and niggas be talking about certain old school. You know, niggas talk about old school. Everybody know the music, and then niggas bring up that one shit like, you remember the first time you heard an old nigga talk about Portrait, and you like, who the fuck is they talking? Well, I guess that was around when I was young though. You know, who
Portrait?
What are you, 45, nigga? What?
Like you being real old right now, Penrose. Like,
No, I never heard of Portrait.
No, I was like 9 or 10 when Portrait was the shit. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I definitely ain't.
my
I
dad
ain't
played that
never
shit
heard
at
of Portrait.
like. That's what I'm saying, right? I only know it because that was the
That's
shit
what
when
I'm
my
saying.
father
H-Town
was
came
like
out in like
30
94. I was listening to H-Town and no party. Like, what?
Oh nah, I definitely was. John. I was
See,
definitely listening.
I grew up listening to funk music too, though. So like at the barbecues, that's all they would play.
True
So
shit.
like we never got to hear Snoop unless he came on like MTV or we was at like the older cousin's house.
Facts.
So it was always Parliament, and then it was always Roger and Zapp and all them, and Slave and Ohio Players and all that shit. So
Hey, yo, when y'all was young, was
don't
there
talk
certain
about
songs,
the tube, Chris.
was there certain songs you couldn't sing when you was young? Like
Yes.
my
Oh my God.
mom bought me.
Oh my God, yes.
bought me the Subway
couldn't
702 cassette.
Not even
I
that.
wasn't never supposed to listen to that shit.
I couldn't
My
sing
mom
It
didn't
Take
know.
a Fool. Remember, It Take a Fool to Learn Love, Don't Love Nobody? I was
Yeah.
not.
You can say fool?
I couldn't. No, I just couldn't sing. My daddy was like, "You don't understand what love." I think he was drunk that day.
Yeah, that's what that sound like.
You don't
That's what that
understand what
sound
love
like.
do to you. You can't
So you can't
that
sing
song.
that. I couldn't sing Funktified because we couldn't say funk. And so, listen, let me tell y'all what we did. So we got a cassette tape, and I went to go sleep over at my friend next door's house, and we went into the kitchen after everybody was asleep and like put the cassette in and like hella was and like turned it on like hella low. Nigga snuck. And
I
we
had
was
a
like, and we was in the
rat-a-tat-tat
kitchen.
party.
We was in the kitchen like we was in the kitchen like.
Y'all snuck to have a rat-a-tat-tat party.
And her grandma still heard it. I was like, what the fuck? I had to go home and some more shit. I was like,
Hey yo, did they ever change that up in y'all church to So Sanctified? Was I the only one that heard that?
No.
I've never
They
heard
did that
that.
at y'all church?
No,
yeah.
I've
You know
never
they
That
did
was
it
one
at
of
our church. I'm
That
from
was one of the
Chicago,
reasons I
nigga.
left the church. I was like, bro, I'm not going back in.
Nigga, you gotta be so sanctified.
They fucking
nigga.
up
I went to
all
church
the
with old people, so no, but
Okay, they kept messing up all the hits. So I was like, I'm
everybody in
cool.
my church was old, so that didn't happen. My mama was like the original Issa Rae. She was rooting for everybody black, so she would like just go into the store and buy whatever had black people on it. So like I literally had like the NWA album, and I was like 10. Like she didn't,
Amazing.
I feel you.
she didn't know.
You got-
Like she really had no fucking clue. So she would just pick whatever had black people on the front. So
You
I
got
I
just
had
Nick.
TLC. Ooh, on the what was that? What was that?
Ooh,
Ooh,
on the
the
TLC.
On a
Ooh, on a
TLC
TLC.
tip.
Ooh, on the TLC.
I was not supposed to have that album.
No.
Once I got older and realized they was just talking about having safe sex, I was like, man, I shouldn't have been singing none of that shit as a kid.
Wait, the
That's
Exhale
good.
soundtrack.
I mean, it was safe.
No, I
in my
never
car
had that.
talking about this in the car talking about this is how it works. My mom was looking at me like
Do you still watch that
movie?
Do you still watch that movie?
Wait till
But in the Exhale,
Yeah.
no.
I'm so glad for y'all. Thank goodness. So proud of y'all. Moving on. That's what I'm talking about. Don't go back and watch it. Stay away from that. That's trauma.
I didn't see a
That's
lot of
trauma.
adults, so I'm not really.
You know what I'm saying?
I live
Two
somewhere.
down.
I live somewhere like very small town, so it's one of those places where like black movies didn't play in the theaters. My parents like drove to Houston to see it. Like we didn't. It didn't.
Oh, you
come.
in Texas?
Mhm.
Nice. Okay.
So it didn't even come to theaters where I lived at the point. So like they drove, like her and her friends all like got in the car with the 2 hours to Houston to watch it in the theater. Like it was a whole
Oh,
girls' day out or whatever.
Yeah. Nah.
Get
They
out,
don't make
bye.
movies like that no more.
Get out, bye.
They really don't.
Bye.
So
So I don't even know where we at. I think we
Yeah.
like
I think that's a wrap, man. Tina Turner. I
She
don't-
found love
I
with a
really
white
don't-
man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
about that.
oh my God. Can I just say how like it touched my heart a little bit? Like how they don't give me that. Okay, I know it's a white man.
I'm not getting
No, it's Scoots. It's because Scoots down there looking at me all crazy. No, but like I know it's a white man, y'all. But like it really like touched my heart, like the way that they met and like how like I feel like he really loved her. Like it
The
feels
story
very
is,
genuine.
I mean, it's
it
real
sounds
cute.
like
But
it.
if I gotta find love with one of the little Caucasians, it probably ain't gonna happen. But I mean,
I don't
And-
think I'm not the black girl Caucasians be really fucking with. I don't think like.
I think you kind of are. You gotta find the right one.
Nah, look, I feel like he did. My man's did the same thing that Serena husband did, man. Like white dudes that like black girls that are in certain positions or fulfill certain roles. And I'll just say that.
I
Okay.
agree. But
And I'll
I ain't
give you
gonna lie
that.
to you. I feel like deep down inside, Tina Turner wanted to be white.
Oh, I'm out.
Okay. Why? Because of the rock and roll?
Because
or
she
like
wanted to do
why?
rock and roll.
She
and then she
instantly went
kept
to
being-
rock and roll.
She was
And then all of a sudden she
Might have been
just started
about-
getting around
yeah, it
like
was
all
weird.
these white folks. Like you ain't see no niggas in her circle for like a long time. And then she started kicking it with Oprah too. So that let me know, like, yeah, they
the background dancers.
initiating
Like,
her in there.
listen, she was doing them R&B tracks, and them people sitting there talking about this shit was white and blonde, talking about, yeah, I used to be her background dancer, and I
Come on,
was
fam.
punching her in the eye, and we just were all quiet about it. And it was a thing, but you know, I
You
just
mean
kept
to tell
doing my
me
kicks and
in the
pliés.
50s and 60s she had white background dancers? Nah.
Everybody was white. They was just white. Everybody was white. Then she was
Oh,
on the
yeah.
cabaret in Vegas. They was all white. Honestly, I didn't want to
That's
say
when the
it,
white ones
but I
came.
felt
That's
the
when the
division
white ones
because
came.
I was like, why are there so many white people here? I had questions.
Y'all not wrong, nigga. Like
It was a lot of white people for it to be like, it was a
saying.
lot of white people in that documentary. And I was like,
And then did y'all see how they tried to set it up though? Like, so if you were looking for a man, what would he be? She was like, he would have to wear the pants, but not dominate me. And then he would have to accept me just for who I am. And then all of a sudden, it just was the white man that just so-called saved her.
When the
Great
white
white
lady
hope.
saw that. And then she was saying that shit about how she went to London and she felt like she had always been there and that's where she was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, like she was supposed to always
Paris,
be in London.
she
Okay,
wanted
all
to be
right,
the,
y'all.
she wanted to be the
It's
white woman
black-
in front of the
it's
London
Eiffel
was
black
Tower.
not
people.
racist back then. I'm just saying they didn't like
It's
niggas.
black
people
So
now
shit.
on
First of all, I just got done watching Top Boy for the second time. It's definitely black people in Britain.
Well, yeah, but they're racist over there.
They
Like I'm
all
not saying it's not
African
niggas
immigrants.
there.
No
They
matter
all
They're
how
all
from
immigrants.
Nigeria
They're not
and
natives.
Uganda and in the Congo. That's where they all
They don't
from.
like them. Like they're
I
immigrants.
mean-
They don't like immigrants over there. Let's keep
and they don't. But I mean, shit, our people was from fucking different African countries. It just happened at a different time. It's
Most
niggas
of
that-
us was already over here, bro. We was
we
already over
like
here.
white men.
I am a person that subscribes to that thought a lot.
We was
What?
already
That
over
we
here.
No, I
That
won't-
some
I
of
won't-
us were already
I
over
won't-
here.
I
A
won't
lot of
argue
us
that
was.
fact. I won't argue that fact that if you really do your research, you can find black Mexicans, original black Americans, all of that shit. I give you that. I'm just saying in the sense of how we are discussing Africans entering the UK and also just versus what we know about the Atlantic slave trade. Yeah, I won't argue that. Hell yeah, it was black people over here. Now, and we ain't got to get into that. The funny conversation is trying to have that conversation with a black person that you might not be African black. You might just already been here black.
Yeah,
Niggas
you
get mad.
native black.
Ooh, niggas get mad. But anyway.
Yeah, I found
Oh,
out.
you know.
I found out I was native black. That's why I'm light skinned. I thought it was because you know what I'm saying, some other stuff, but I was wrong.
I mean, my family doesn't track anywhere past Arkansas. That's on some real life shit.
I feel you. We tracked our shit to Africa though, and I you know, some of that shit I'd be like, maybe they just blowing smoke in your ass when you get so far, but like,
Nah, you got to check them Indian. You got to check them old Indian papers and reservations and all that shit
Yeah,
too.
true shit.
but that,
True
now
shit,
on my
true
mother's
shit.
side, now that's where that shit trace. My daddy's side, you can trace that shit to Africa. My mother's side, that shit don't
Nice.
leave out America. Facts.
That's
Like-
what's
That's
up.
facts.
I guess I don't know my dad's side for real, but like my mom's side, like we don't go past Arkansas, bro. Like
I feel you. Yeah, my mom's side, we don't go past. And some people in Alabama, and there's a lot of people that's like Michigan, Nebraska, that like the main Midwest states. So
Yeah,
but
a lot of my family is well, my dad's side is all Boule, so they all in like the Masons and Eastern Stars and all that, and we don't talk to them like that. And then my mom's side, that's the side.
I won't talk to them like
Nah, I won't fuck with them.
I
like
was an
that.
Eastern Star.
hey,
Yeah,
my people
they
was
bougie.
Eastern Stars and Masons. Yeah, they tend to
Yeah,
be
they real
than
bougie.
normal.
They don't fuck with us like
Very.
that. But you know what I'm saying? They look out for you if you in trouble though. But my mom's side, they all, you know what I'm saying, like from Georgia and all them parts, South Carolina and like the Geechee Gully and all that, or Gullah or all that. So you know what I'm saying? It's dope, man. But yeah, she definitely wanted to be a white woman. So
I like
feel
the top hat.
that's a strong point
No,
to
I
leave
mean,
off.
it felt like, yeah, she was trying to assimilate into something. And I didn't want to be the person to be like, oh my God. But it was just, it's very cringy. Like, it wasn't enough black
I just
people.
wanted to point that out. We can't leave that out because you know what I'm saying. The fact that they did my man Ike like that, we gotta slander Tina somewhat.
Well, her mama was fucked up too. We ain't talk about her fucked up ass mama.
Nah, see, that's different though because I feel like with her mom's situation, like her mom was going through what she was going through without the fame, and I think that when she left, I think she left for the best because I think it could have been a possibility of her either breaking down mentally and hurting them, or her possibly dying. And I mean, I think if anything, her dad just wasn't shit.
Yeah, I can see that part, and the actual correlation. Her mama getting her ass beat. It's like, yeah, let me leave. Because they never really say that daddy didn't love them. So sometimes you got that parent that'll leave because of the trauma and be like, at least I know these kids, they still gonna be good. You see what I'm saying? So I can kind of feel that.
Because even her mom, when her mom,
And then they
got
weren't
interviewed, her
good.
mom was saying how proud
No,
of
they
her she
weren't.
was.
They weren't. But
And then they
I can
weren't
see
good.
the thought
That nigga,
process.
The nigga was like, "Oh shit, I gotta take care of these little motherfuckers," and dipped. Like
Where's
that.
your
I don't
cousin?
think that's
Wow.
what it is. I don't think that's what it was. I think that just like any abusive person and narcissistic person, when she left, he was like, "Let me go back and get her and bring her back because I'm not done yet."
Could have been real shit.
Yeah.
Hence, you all seen the breastplate, the helmet of salvation, and the breastplate of righteousness. God damn it.
Yeah, that
Not
But-
the breastplate of righteousness.
No,
Whatever
no.
she said. Yo, I ain't gonna front. I gotta dip out. I gotta
Oh,
I don't want to. Was we about to?
Yeah, we got to sign
Oh,
off.
okay. All right. Bet, bet, bet.
Got to sign off. You go ahead, sign off, and then we'll finish it up.
No doubt, no doubt. I appreciate y'all, man. For everybody listening on Penrose Eames, come see me when y'all can. This was beautiful. I appreciate y'all having this. So I'll check in with y'all in a minute.
All right. See you later.
Thank you.
For sure. Peace.
Chris, you can go ahead, go next.
Oh, hey guys. It's me, Chris. Shenanigans with Friends. It is a weekly recap, basically of all the crazy shit that I found interesting in the news world. You guys can follow me on Facebook at Shenanigans Podcast, IG Shenanigans _podcast, Twitter at SW Friends Pod. Right on the screen is my personal Twitter. If you guys are into that, that's cool. And then I guess I could do the all docked up stuff. Twitter is all docked up. That's ALLDOCDUP. And then IG is all docked up pod. Again, docked is spelled DOCD. And thanks so much for having me. It's always fun with you, Scoots. You
Of
fucking
course.
crazy.
Thank y'all for being on. VJ, what's up? What's going on?
Well, you can find me a couple places. My solo pod is Murder V Wrote, so you can find me at Murder V Pod on Twitter and also on Instagram. That is a show I've taken a hiatus because I've been working on some school related shit, but we'll be back soon. So yeah, that is weekly podcast where I just kind of talk about murders and serial killers, interesting true crime cases that I come across, and try to give kind of just like some background about those and kind of give some levity to the topic. I do another podcast, Chopping It Up with Q podcast. So shout out to Q. We are
he's been poking out. He's been poking his head out. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Been, so yeah, we've been kind of like we've been on hiatus as well because he's been, we've been coding and he had a baby and a few other things. So yeah, so we'll be back at it, but you can catch us at Chopping It Up pod on Twitter, and say we don't have an IG. I don't have my personal Twitter, but that's normally where I am talking shit about some shit that doesn't really matter, and that's at VJ _Burton, and that's across all platforms.
Dope. I noticed you said that you do a podcast on serial killers. My man S. is also a serial killer aficionado, so I think y'all might have to link up and make something happen one day.
Yo, you gotta listen to her show, bro. She's giving you like ID channel, like level, like descriptions of the things she's talking about. Like the way that's like honestly, like she's like a super close friend of mine in the podcast world, but like totally why I chose her for All Docked Up, because like the way that she like tells stuff is just so fucking amazing. So.
You know what? And as that is the same way. This dude, he did a podcast on slasher films. But he was naming each of the slashers and like giving you all these facts, and he didn't write none of this shit down. He was doing all of that shit off memory. So I was like, yeah, that's why I chose him to do Viewers Anonymous as well, because like he got a great memory when it comes to movies and television shows and shit like that. So yeah, he
definitely have a link. I would love to have you on the show. I have not had a guest yet, so I would be delighted to have you on as a guest to talk murder with me.
I could do that. Hit me up. Shit. Hit me up. I'm definitely down with it, man. Scoots know how I get down when it comes to stuff like that.
That's what's up.
Dope.
And then as that man, I want to thank you, you know what I'm saying, for holding it down and starting really everything up, because I had to go through that with you know what I'm saying, dude from the Bad News Bears. I forgot the coach name from the Bad News Bears. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, listen. This nigga was Keanu Reeves from the first half of Hardball, bro. Like,
no, he's not
the yeah, bro. Yeah, it's
oh my god.
And there was no video, with them winning the championship at the end. But You go ahead, S. Dot, man. You know what I'm saying? Let them know. I know I usually go first, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's only right to let you go ahead and take this one over, bro.
Now you can find me at the Stolen Time Podcast on Facebook, Stolen Time Pod on Instagram, S.Foster8 on Instagram and Twitter. I don't think I'm gonna put out a 28 minutes or less podcast this week. That's the one I do solo. And Stolen Time Podcast. There probably won't be one this week. Shout out to my co-host, Uncle Washington. He's still going through his health problems, so I don't know when he's going to be back on Stolen Time Podcast. But just still. So what?
I was just saying, I hope he gets well soon.
Oh, appreciate that. And me and Scoops do the Viewers Anonymous podcast, which we on now. Go check out the VA Podcast Watch Group page. We're trying to grow that page. We got an IG page that should be coming soon. Waiting on Scoops to get that together. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? We still rocking.
Yes, sir. Man, y'all already know, man. Follow me on Twitter at Scoots Bronson, on Instagram, Scoots Bronson _TV. On the YouTube, Scoots Bronson TV. That's where you can find all of the videos for Viewers Anonymous. And we got the link tree up on the Facebook group, so go there, check that out. Instagram should be up by the end of this week. I had to make sure I got the right email and everything for it, so we didn't get confused with somebody else. Y'all be sending the emails to the wrong people. It's not a good look. I had that happen one time, and that's trust me, that's really not a good look. But yeah, just make sure, you know what I'm saying, you guys follow us. You can also check me out on my other podcast, 15 Minutes of Fame. We just did one, me and Chris just did one on the TV show Them from Amazon Prime. We had a lot of fun. It was the same. It's pretty much the same like you just heard here. I'll laugh.
Yeah.
We got to some of the show, but it was mostly laughs. But you know what I'm saying, last but not least, I want to thank you guys for jumping on. I know it was a whole bunch of stuff going on today, and I appreciate you guys for coming through. You know what I'm saying, y'all go check out All Docked Up. They did I just put an episode out today that I'm still listening to.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, like the way that we interact with each other visually, like the audio is just not even like, it's really the YouTube channel.
No, it's actually good though. Like, it's not that bad when you're listening to it. Yeah, because like I listen to all my pods at work. So like I be in the middle of cutting some stuff, and I gotta stop cutting so I can laugh. So I don't, you know, like put a hand off or something. So yeah, like I told you, that Bayou Blue episode was crazy. So
that was a good one.
Y'all make sure y'all go check out All Docked Up, man. And y'all know how it is. Like they say in Hollywood, it's a wrap.
Bye. See you guys. Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.